series and wins the upper bracket of WCS Valencia. Wow, what a run, Todd.
Yeah, fantastic job by him. Man, I'm so impressed with Mazza. Even though he lost the map, we were talking about this Asian family thing. He's going to go to dinner later. I won even more money and more games. But I lost the map.
So, what did we miss?
Son.
We missed one, for a split moment, Bills was going for the double prism, Todd, and he was finding some openings, but JonSnow wasn't working with a lot of units, but did a fantastic job in actually not taking too much damage. So, you know, we've got a game on our hands. It really felt like Bills was light years ahead, but it seems like this is a game. Can't underestimate this Protoss army though, but maybe with some good Baneling connections. Baneling speed is almost done. War Prism is going to try to be annoying here. I still like Bills' position, obviously, but I'm saying, Todd, there is a chance.
Ooh, a couple of Banelings rolling on through. They forced a time warp, actually, plus blow up one of these sentries.
It's a lot of bubbles.
What do you think about the storms coming up?
Oh, they better be good. They need to be good. I don't know what JonSnow is going to do over here. Maybe counterattack. This War Prism in the main has been doing some work. It is important, though, for Bills that he doesn't lose his Prism, because that is the only Prism he currently has.
Yeah, and he's going to need to reinforce a whole lot more than this here to keep up with his Zerg army. Pulls back and storms. And lands some very good ones, but there's more units coming in from behind.
If only these rocks were down for JonSnow, it feels like this would have been a lot easier. But where's that Prism? We need some reinforcements. Not that many storms left for our Protoss, and Bills is in a lot of trouble as these Archons were not ready to fight. A couple of them will get picked up, and these Immortals suddenly looked very, very sad.
Yeah, trying to run away, that gave him turns around.
Wow.
The Prisms survived, but JonSnow, man, these Hydralisk armies, they are really hard to get rid of, it seems like, for the Protosses that we've seen in action today. They're struggling against that.
I do feel that Bills butchered that attack a little bit, though. Early on, the Mothership Core sacrifice, it seemed like it was kind of useless. And then having only one Prism. Like, the harass here was good, but I feel if you want to have your only Prism, harass in the main, then you better be ready to take the fight immediately. Because the longer you wait, the more reinforcements JonSnow is going to have.
I wonder if we're going to see Colossus come back more and more in PvZ, as we see Hydralisk like being one of the more prevalent units. It's just hard to reach, and even if you do, obviously Vipers can deal with that really well.
Yeah, the problem I think with Colossus...
That guy is far behind enemy lines.
He's having his own little battle against a couple of these links. It's safe to say that Bills is in a lot of trouble here. How many storms do we look at? Maybe 3, 4?
Overcharges? No? He didn't remake Mothership Core?
Yeah, he did remake it, so he's probably going to have 1, max 2 overcharges. That's a pretty decent first storm, though. This seems like kind of a hard position to attack. Bailey's going to roll in and going to connect with a couple of these Zealots, but at least the High Templars stay safe for now. I'm not a big fan of that storm. A little bit of a panic storm. High Templars running into Bailings, and the last High Templar. Oh, DT stalled. Where's the Oversteer? It's coming.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's funny, actually, earlier some of these Oversteers had like full energy. I think Bales picked up on that. He feedbacked one at the last second and blew it up.
So many Hydras coming in from every angle.
Bales trying to survive there. He needs maybe one more overcharge to really help with this. There is still a lot of Hydralisk left over. I see one High Templar on the left-hand side. I'm not sure he's got a storm. Yes, lands a decent one, but I mean, Hydralisk, even if you hit like 3 or 4, there's always way more where, like right next to this.
Good micro by Bills. He's able to save at least one of those Immortals. Still kind of hanging in there. +2 is about to finish up. So that is good news. Pretty thick hold, because I kind of felt that wasn't going to be possible anymore after he lost his entire army. But obviously there is more where that came from.
And Banelings this time around. No true style here with just pure Hydralisks. JonSnow is keeping it more old school here, what we used to see with a lot of Hydras and Banes. This is really bad, by the way. Like when you're defending like this as Protoss and you're not able to keep on expanding and you know that the Zerg economy is being left untouched, usually you're in a lot of trouble. And I think this might be it here.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard. Those Archons were not ready once again. A couple of Zealots might be able to save the day here for a little bit. Why doesn't Bills take the safe expand, Todd? Like, I know it's a small base, but it feels like defending this base was going to be borderline impossible at this point. He's going to end up losing a few more of these important units.
He's going big or he's going home.
Yeah. Like,
what's happening? And he's going home, apparently.
Technically, he could have taken this one. I know that's not the dream base, but he seems incredibly eager on at least getting 2 assimilators.
It's a principle thing. He's been challenged to take that middle base and he accepted. And he's running out of minerals for it.
Obviously, JonSnow is going to run out of some minerals soon as well.
Check the natural abilities. Yeah, not much left. The main's fully mined out. And JonSnow, by the way, is perfectly identified that all he can do from there is starve Bills. Make sure that he never takes the fourth base, keep on attacking into it.
Bills is pretty... Do you think like he maybe forgot about that base? Do you think that's possible? Or do you think he just doesn't want to have one guy?
I think it is possible.
This happened to the best of us, right? As this Byland does a little bit of damage, but it's going to get taken out as well. There are quite a few Zealots here in the mix. Those Banes are not ready yet, but they're about to finish up. How good are these Storms going to be? This Nexus is taking a beating from these Hydras on the left side. Good Storm on a lot of those Banelings.
Great Storm, but there's still so much left over from JonSnow, and it's taking a massive supply lead here, and I think this is going to be it.
Yeah, 7 more Hydras on the way. Immortal gets picked off. GG, JonSnow wins on Sequencer after having a pretty bumpy start. Losing roughly 22 Zerglings, and the only thing and a Drop Alert, and the only thing he got done was killing a Sentry, and he still turned it around. That's a confidence booster for the rest of the best of 5, I think.
Really well done by JonSnow here. Maybe took a little bit of a page of out of True's book of making a lot of Hydralisk and attacking consistently, and I wonder if we're going to start already seeing some adjustment out of Bales here, perhaps with, I don't know, more camping. I know you need to attack against Zerg, and it feels like you always need to attack, and obviously like we see everything, we see the numbers, and for us, we look at the position, we're like, actually, it doesn't really need to attack right now. They have like, he has like a good worker count, can go later. It's Sequencer as well. That was Sequencer. Just go for carriers. Yeah. I know JonSnow looked pretty strong against carriers, but there was also like some of Pilipilis mistakes yesterday that played a role in his wins.
Yeah, I think it's really rough. If you start a best of 5 like that, and you've got a fantastic start there in game number 1 if you're Bills, and then you throw the game, it's just a shame. Like maybe sometimes I feel maybe Protoss players try to get a little too fancy as well. You know, it's like, all right, I'm gonna have this big attack. I'm gonna land a time warp. I'm gonna land force fields. I'm gonna land storms. And during all of this,
expectation against reality.
Yeah, I'm like harassing in the main as well. This is gonna be sick. Watch it. You know, hold my beer. And then like when it actually happens, you're like, oh, that didn't really go that well. It was a little bit unnecessary.
That was the reality one, not the expectation.
Because I feel that Bills maybe could have kept that game a little simpler for himself, or like you said, just go carriers. You know, don't try to be too complicated or fancy. Anyways, game number 2 is up. We can go ahead and jump into Odyssey. From this point on, we're never gonna have 2 series anymore at the same time.
I feel like I should just join some random custom games at this point. I just got so used to it. Who's playing? Can I join?
Yeah, I know it's gonna feel so weird. It's gonna feel so calming. Because obviously from this point on, we are only focusing on the lower bracket, and eventually we're gonna have an overall final.
Maybe I focused on JonSnow, you focused on Bells, and we do picture-in-picture.
All right, well, I'm going to introduce my man Dan from Kansas over here in the right bottom side of Odyssey. He's down 0-1. Had a great start in game 1. Can he bounce back? It is Bills.
There was that actually at some tournaments, you know? Like in the TVZs, since there is so much action everywhere, there was 2 observers, and one of them was showing another fight, like a drop somewhere.
Yeah, some of the Red Bull events, we had it in the past when we had Flo and Funka at the same time. That was sick.
the observing Archon.
Yeah. Over here, of course, on the left top side, the main base of our Zerg, wrapping Sidestorm Gaming. It is JonSnow.
Who would you rate higher between these two in the North American scene?
Right now...
Would you rate them even?
No, right now I'd give a small edge to JonSnow. I feel like he's been a little bit more consistent over the last few months. And he's just been like getting better and better. But Bills is, you know, you really can't underestimate him. And Bills is very close. Like, I'm definitely not saying that like JonSnow is gonna, you know, beat the living hell out of Bills. It's close, but small edge to John.
I wonder if Bills will go pro eventually.
Yeah, I don't know how many years he has left. It's, I don't know what he's studying for either. I should know that.
Yeah, there's always like a cutoff point in school where you can take a break. Like before that, it seems difficult. He's still a pretty young guy. And it's good to prioritize education, for sure.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. I mean, that's
straight A student?
I don't know if he's straight A, but he's definitely a smart man. I think anybody that's able to hustle, you know, demanding education and playing and traveling to events at the same time, it's just impressive, man. Of course, JonSnow, probably still studying as well, unless he's currently taking a small break. I'm not aware of that. But last year, I mean, obviously, otherwise he couldn't play in the TESPA Collegiate. He's going to Rensselaer University, somewhere upstate New York, I believe it is.
I had never heard that name before you mentioned it yesterday.
Apparently, it's a pretty well-known university. Like when Nate started, he's like, "Oh yeah, Rensselaer." He's like, "Yeah, that's."
Yeah, but Nate is from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Like he knows anything bigger than a school with like 15 students.
No, I think it's in the field of JonSnow, which I think it's like information technology related, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think it's a pretty prestigious university, and obviously Kansas University, where Bills is going, is incredibly well known. Mostly for their sports teams. Thought one day these.
What sports?
I think Kansas has a pretty good basketball team, and I think they also have a football stadium. It's crazy, man. These that university campus life in America is just so strange to as a European as myself. But I drove past a stadium once at a university campus. I think it was like in Austin, and the stadium is just massive. I think there's one in Philadelphia somewhere. It has a stadium with 110,000 seats, Todd, at a campus. Like,
yeah, that's quite sick.
That is ridiculous. Like, it's insane.
The fraternities, man. We need to get our own fraternity going. The Roddy P cult.
If I could like do life over, maybe as a young man, I would do whatever I can to try to get that American university experience. Probably be paying it off for the rest of my life, but
it would be worth it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think it's really cool and unique.
All right, we've got quite a few gateways going down here with the Robo, and I think Bells is going to be hitting with some oracles and then going into a ton of adepts and warp them in across the map without glaives, in fact.
Yeah, these non-glaives pushes have been incredibly popular these days. You know what I think is really cool? Every now and then you see a Protoss switch it up. They go Oracle, and they make it seem like it's a non-glaive follow-up, but then they actually sneaked in the Twilight console somewhere, and then those adepts are so much more powerful. Because a lot of Zergs feel like they don't need a Baneling Nest or a Ro4 if the adepts don't have resonating glaives.
Oh, the probe! Oh, you're joking. You saw that? Boom. That's a personal win right there.
Hey, Phoenix is the follow-up after 2 Oracles, which I think is a tiny bit surprising. This often gives me the idea that Protoss has something to hide. Like, we're seeing the Twilight here, and then instead of like the regular Robo,
yeah,
we may see the explosion tilt.
Protoss always has something to hide anyway. But Observer is now going to start. It's only 2 adepts going across the map. I was wondering if he might maybe do something fancy, like warp in sentries and try and take the ramp. We don't see that at all anymore, even though a lot of Zergs keep Ro4. Imagine if now he somehow landed that. Went up the ramp, landed that force field.
Yeah, I feel like Bills could have done it in the last game. He even had the sentry in the prism. Did you see that? By the way, he focused Larva with his oracles. That's not something I see super often, but he was able to pop a couple of them almost immediately.
This link's being annoying here, forcing one overcharge. Bells might want to stop chrono boosting at warp gate, by the way, and focus more on the Robo, because that's not being chrono boosted right now, and definitely needs to be fixed, I think.
Yeah, maybe charge as well. He has a couple of adepts that were able to make their way into the main because of this warp prism. And JonSnow was pretty far out of position, so this is nice for Bills. You know what I'm shocked by, Todd? No fourth hatchery yet.
I mean, if he's going to attack with Mass Hydralisk and Lynx, might not need one. Look at the map, like it's not necessarily a super long rush distance, so maybe doing the true here.
Yeah, kind of, right?
And there is no observer in position to spot this coming either, so Bills might not have any idea. Let's see if he sets up some stasis ward here. He's got enough energy for 3. 2 pylons on the 3rd base, that's good for Bills, but if you look at his force there, it's like almost pathetic.
Yep.
There's almost nothing.
The Immortals misrallied as well, Todd. I thought, what? Why is the Immortal on the high ground? Does it not? Can it not go through? It should be able to go through.
Oh no, it can't. Look at the pylon. It blocks off.
Oh no, he went for the full wall off, which means no reinforcements indeed. Drops a couple of force fields, but these adepts, Todd, they don't have resonating glaives.
And there is no Guardian Shield now, because he used too many force fields.
I think this is going to be very hard. A couple of slow zealots running forward as well. It's like, we've got this, guys. Stasis is going to be able to trap a couple of links, but that ain't enough. That's one overcharge. He can just stay out of range of the other one.
Or fight it anyway, because he has too much. Everything's dying. Immortals finally broke out, but they're late to the party here.
Yeah, 2 Immortals really could have made a difference there. A couple of probes helping out as well, but these adepts, if only the adepts have resonating glaives, right?
This is like the sickest disaster for Bills. Immortals trapped. The attack hits 20 seconds before it would have had some stasis wards, and This is like a depressing game. I feel like I can feel his depression from there. This is so sad to lose a game like this.
He does have a stasis on top of this ramp. Maybe he can trap a couple of these Hydras. That could be a very important stasis, because now it's just 3 Hydralisks left on. The Immortal on the low ground survives as well, but JonSnow wants to get the kill. And he does get the kill. That stasis is at least buying him some time.
Bells is ahead in Walkers. If he can stabilize, and he's actually chasing and killing more Hydralisks. I can't believe he somehow held here for now. He needs to catch those Hydralisks that are about to be freed here from the stasis ward.
All right, we're going to get 2 more Archons as well. They have been freed. Careful, Bells. You want to wait for those Archons that you just warped in. And you can't afford to lose those Immortals either. Sick micro by Bills.
He almost has another overcharge.
Wow, is he doing it, Todd?
Yeah, Bells behind. He starts centrifugal hooks, gets a macro hatch and another base, and he's going to slow down.
Wow, that's stasis. A game-saving stasis there on the high ground.
Sick micro from Bells, by the way, later on. Like, I really thought that he was toast at first, but ended up saving the day. And now, immediately realizing that JonSnow slows down, he starts Storm.
Yep,
and he's on 4 gases. Should just get a ton of charge loads, get a bunch of High Templars as well, take those gases on the 3rd base, and get a bunch of Storms ready.
Well, did he
shower the Zerg in it?
Did he have that Prism?
Yeah, the whole time.
Wow. So he was able to to hang in there with, you know, -10 supply that he technically could have had. Obviously, the Prism doesn't do that much, but actually a defensive Prism, when you pick up a couple of Archons that are at the front, is pretty useful from time to time.
Cannon going up now on that 3rd base as well for Bells, who's taking the gases here very importantly.
I've been really
I really hope he doesn't attack this time, by the way. Because here we are again, right? Like, he's getting the right army against what JonSnow has.
Maybe he was a little bit paranoid about early Brute Lords last game, because he felt, you know, if JonSnow is behind, he's probably not going to try to beat me with Hydra Bane. And maybe he wanted to hit like a pre-Brute Lord timing, but he didn't have to worry about that. But you're right, if I was Bills right now and I was barely hanging in there, sit back for a little bit. Make sure you have plenty of High Templars.
Smell the roses.
Yeah.
Take it in.
Have like at least 1 defensive Templar over here, maybe against a big run-by. Leave 1 or 2 over here, and then you can move out eventually with like 5 or 6. But in case that you lose a fight, make sure that you have a couple of defensive Storms ready. Kind of how we used to play PvT in the old days. After they took away our Kadiri Amulet.
Yeah, well. I can't believe a Protoss ever lost a game with this upgrade in it. Against Terran.
It's amazing, right? 5 in High Templar, Storm. It was good.
It was so stupid. Alright, 4th base should be in the plans here very soon for Bells. The question is, where does he take it? 6 o'clock or 3 o'clock? He's not rushing it. He's a little bit paranoid. I think he knows that JonSnow might be messing, but all alike, he didn't send his observer across the map, because sometimes, you know, it's good to spot the army of your opponent, but you also get it sniped, and then you have literally 0 info. Now he would know when JonSnow steps inside of that puddle here towards his base, just below the observer.
He still has a Phoenix that's just patrolling. I guess he made the 1 Phoenix because JonSnow is pretty well known for his Baneling drops on mineral lines. I actually kind of like that. This is his attempt, Todd. He's going to try to go up to 4 base over here on the left side, and immediately JonSnow is there to deny it. I don't know how many 4 base...
JonSnow's trying to get some links inside of the wall of Bales at the natural, but it ends up running back.
Oh, those High Templars!
He needs to be attacking with the main army while pulling back the High Templars, otherwise Banelings close in and blow these guys up.
This seems like a pretty decent fight there for Bales on the...
Yeah.
When he had the Archons perfectly lined up, the Immortals behind it.
He's almost maxed out there. Just needs like 2 more minutes to be able to reach that, and I think JonSnow is not going to try to give him that.
And Bill's got money as well, actually. He's got quite a bit of money in the bank. Want to be careful going up a ramp like this. JonSnow, his army is split up a little bit. He sent a lot of it towards the middle. We've got a couple of Banelings morphing.
Yeah, he's coming back to defend against a bunch of Zealots that are up there. But there's still the Prism. Oh my god, big warping at the top. I think Bales might aim... Wait, what? He's pulling back? It's funny, like these links catch these Zealots, but it's really the Zealots that catch the links. Banelings rolling into the 3rd base. Oh, nice saves. Oh my god, that storm was on point too.
There's a lot happening.
And army supply is almost even. Bales, I feel like he was going to go down 0-2, and just like that, he's back in it, and I feel like he might win this one as long as he takes a good fight.
It's going to be hard, though. I mean, JonSnow is also kind of like Druid, not a Zerg that falls apart. A couple of run-bys. These High Templars a little bit exposed out, but there are a lot of Storms in the mix and a crazy amount of Immortals as well. Just run and Storm, I guess. run and storm for days, but I would really love to see a couple of Zealots as well.
Oh my god, these storms. Storming his retreat all the way back, and now these Immortals are going to turn around and clean up the Hydralisk. There's still a force on the top right-hand side for Bales that he can stand forward, and he cleaned up completely. This is what I was talking about. Against this army, just get a lot of high Templars, take your time, pick your fights, and smash through this Zerg army that's so squishy.
Yep, and this time JonSnow didn't leave that many units behind on the top side, so those Zealots could potentially start ravaging this base. Obviously, JonSnow is going to send his forces there. Ooh, I'm a tiny bit worried, though. There are no storms right now, Todd. And on creep, do you really want to commit? Well, Bills is going to go for it. He does have a Prism as well, so he's got, you know, weapons. Maybe he's got, I think...
Yeah, look at that army supply, man. It's got way more. This Baning's barely going to be able to connect here. Nice splits as well from Bills, pulling back with some of his Immortals.
Yeah, Bills is playing well. Excellent game here by our American Protoss. Going to be able to just massacre all those drones like it was nothing as they were all being transferred. A couple of Hydras there are going to try to make that last stand, but I think it's safe to say there is a little too much Protoss here for Bailey. Representing Elevate, a couple of last Bailings rolling forward. The amount of Immortals was too high. GG, sick game by Bills. Todd, the Zealots often say they cannot hold, but Bills, what a hold.
Yeah, that was crazy. I really thought he was out of it, but that's Stacy's words. It's funny, because like while you were saying that, I was even like, what are you on about? He's dead. Stop doing the caster thing. Stop pretending he's still alive. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Bell survived and somehow comes back in the series. These two, I think they are very well matched up. Historically, they're 6-6 in series and 15-13 in maps in Bell's favor.
Yeah,
so
super close. Who won the Tespa thing? Or is that not shown because it was an Archon match?
Yeah, probably not shown.
Okay. As far as I remember, Bills won that one. But
just ask them.
No.
He just won a map. He won't care. I told the players yesterday, I used to hate when the casters joined mid-series and asked what's the score as a player. And I was like, no, I'm that guy. Because I kept on joining lobbies and I was like, score, because I didn't know who had won the previous game.
Oh yeah, this must be one of the very few Wikipedia pages that's not updated. I didn't know that existed, Todd, but apparently there's one. Wikipedia has
Get to work, Iromi, come on.
Game number 3 is going to be played on Proxima Station. We haven't seen any carriers yet. This used to be the ultimate carrier map. Every Protoss was like, well, let's sit back, make carriers, and it's going to be fine. And then suddenly we saw a couple of very scary games coming out of Zergs. I think you casted maybe a game with Cero where he had like 100 spores, right? On Proxima.
Yeah. Even these Hydralisk timings, to be honest, they're so refined nowadays that I think it would be way too hard to go for carriers and somehow survive. But there is some Protosses out there that are like wizards and make it look really strong, like Pilly, but out of builds, yeah, I wouldn't expect carriers.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and hop into Proxima Station. A very important best of 5 here between these two awesome American players. The winner of this series will move on and guarantee themselves a finish in the top 4. Now, if you guys wonder what's so big about top 4, it means you get an all-expenses-paid trip to WCS Valencia, which is happening, I think, around the 15th of July. We've got a really busy summer, by the way, Todd.
Yeah.
It's like there's Jan Shopping coming up. You know,
Valencia, Shanghai.
And a Home Story Cup is coming up as well. Dennis has said it. So it's going to be a lot of StarCraft in the upcoming months.
I just want to reiterate quickly, by the way, about the Challenger format for those that that tuned in late, because I saw like a lot of people were wondering exactly how it works. So for this Challenger and all of the Challenger, basically, we have 16 players competing against one another in a double bracket. How do we find out who are the 16? 8 make it through the ladder with the cutoff points, the 8 highest ranked, and we have 2 open cups that see 4 and 4 players also qualify for Challenger.
Yep. And then in Challenger, they will duke it out, as we have, I believe. Once again, Naruto. Naruto is struggling today, Todd.
With the sickest nickname as well.
Protoss. It's not a bias caster result. What are you talking about?
Have you ever watched their cast? Like taking stuff and they get mad about DTs? And
yeah, in the past. I kind of like listening to the German cast. I don't know. It's a little bit silly. But I love the passion, Naruto has sick passion. It's really funny because whenever I see, like when I'm meeting there, hanging around, it takes place, I'm always like, Dan, I think Naruto works really hard. And then Dan looks at Naruto, he's like, Naruto? Nah, he doesn't do anything. And I'm like, come on, man. He's like slaving away on that couch, casting everything that moves. So you got to give Naruto some love there. And then he's like, yeah, I know.
I just realized if you play Protoss and you beat Naruto, it says Protoss has left the game. That's kind of funny because you just Protoss him technically.
I wonder if he plays on NA. Obviously, this is fun account. Anyway, of course, Bills over here on the top side is our American Protoss. He has not qualified for a... well, he went to WCS Austin, but he didn't directly qualify for it. He had to battle his way through the open bracket / group stages. And of course, over here on the left bottom side, we've got JonSnow, somebody who finished top 16 at WCS Austin, the main event. So obviously has a couple of WCS points under his belt. Qualified for Jan Shopping as well, so we're going to see him in Sweden next week. And he's trying to repeat that performance.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been to a WCS event yet, or if you've been to one, I definitely recommend, regardless, going to one of them. In Austin, I think there were a lot of people that were there, like maybe as their first time going out to one of the StarCraft tournaments, got to talk to a lot of the fans there, and yeah, they seem very happy and passionate to see everybody. Like I like the way it's set up as well, right? Because you got rows of computers and all the players competing, playing one another. Like you're not like very far away. They're not behind a glass window or in a player area where like you have no access and that you can't see. Obviously, you can't enter the player area where if you're a spectator, but you can watch from basically almost right behind them, and I think that's really cool. I love walking around and like, you know, trying to follow like 3 games at once.
Yeah, especially the first day of a WCS event, it's always a little hectic. There's so many games going on at the same time.
And the pros, when you get them going to talk about strategy as well, they can't stop. They just start telling you about everything, every single detail of the game. It's just like super fun.
It's fun to be a real bird. Just stand behind the rails and watch what's going on. And obviously watching the big show on the screen is fun as well. So we have once again a very early Phoenix. He's going to actually make multiple Phoenixes this game, but at the same time we also have a robotics facility being wiped in. This is not an incredibly common opening. Now Phoenixes are great, but you know, often the way you see it is either you see a lot of Phoenixes or you know, somebody going double Stargate.
What is this,
Phoenix?
2014? Phoenix into Colossus and then Blink or what?
Well,
to be fair, like nobody was going really Hydralisks back then for a reason, right? That's because this was really good against it. So it'd be crazy to see like an old school build. It's like, you want to go Hydralisk? All right, let's do it. Just go
one of the
straight into
issues,
Colossus.
you know, like over the years, the Hydra has just been buffed, right? It used to have 2 upgrades, now it's just 1 upgrade. Oh, that's an early Prism. And obviously the Colossus used to be a little bit stronger than it currently is as well.
A little bit.
Yeah, tiny
just
bit.
a little bit.
I wonder what he's going to do with a super fast Prism.
This maybe more gates.
So uncommon.
Even with just the 3, to be fair, just like an adept drop can be really strong. This is also a map where, if you look at the ramp between the main and you know, the outside base, if you land a bunch of sentries there, it could be really strong. But I don't know, when you're already spending that much gas on Phoenixes, it might seem hard to get sentries. He sees all of the links coming out, actually. And JonSnow is going for a massive attack on this.
Yeah, he's got 34 Zerglings, but I don't think, well, you can actually need to overcharge. That overcharge is a little bit late, and that force field doesn't protect this
And the second pylon is late as well. Everything's going to be clutch here for JonSnow.
In the end, the pylon was able to pick up quite a few links.
That's a cancel.
Yeah, you shouldn't cancel everything. Wow, JonSnow with just 34 links.
The prisms across the map now, though. Let's see it. Link still coming out. JonSnow wasn't running straight up behind this.
He's shooting at a queen because I think Bills is focusing at the defense at home, so this attack really didn't do much at all. I mean, most of the links have been picked up, so that must mean like 38 dead Zerglings. But I think that JonSnow is okay with that, Todd.
The Prism has no hit points here from there, and I'm pretty sure Bills is going to try to re-expand and threaten with the Prism so that the links stay across the map here from JonSnow.
That's really unfortunate for Bills. I think, you know, with a slightly faster second pylon, maybe with 1 extra unit here.
Quicker overcharge.
Yeah.
If you see this many links, you need to overcharge ASAP. There is no time to waste. And maybe like the sentries doesn't really do that much damage anyway, so force fielding on top of the pylon to protect it might have been more important than trying to save the sentry.
Yep. So JonSnow is just going to drone up behind this. He knows that he has taken a small economic lead in this game, and he wants to capitalize on it. Todd, what on earth? Blink? What?
This truly is 2014.
Yeah, this is such an odd game.
So I guess it's going to be a bunch of sentries warped in first. You let them build up on energy. We saw actually, it was Zest going for these kind of builds not that long ago. And we really got a huge throwback from it. Because we don't really see these kind of builds anymore all that much.
What I'm just mostly shocked by is that he also is still making Phoenixes. And it wasn't just like 1 or 2.
And Robo banned, second Robo.
Blink
on the way.
Yeah, or maybe he's going to disrupt it again. The problem is though, if you go Disruptors as well, Todd, your army consists of at least 3 units that are only good if you cast abilities, right? Like Disruptor, you need to activate the shoot. Phoenixes, you need to lift. And Stalkers, you kind of need to blink, otherwise they just die too fast.
And you need to force field.
And you need to force
And Guardian Shield.
It doesn't matter. Like
it never ends.
No, it doesn't matter how good you are. I just don't think that you can control that. So I'd say you're going to have to go Phoenix, Colossus here, because I don't think that the other 3 units or 4 units work incredibly well with each other.
It's so old school, man. If he goes Colossus, this is really like a true throwback, but I feel like JonSnow might be able to hit before. Obviously, there is a small choke that he would have to attack through. Look at the Pylon's placement, though. Yeah. That's quite beautiful. Right. They do go down very quick against Hydralisk. Colossus!
Yeah, it just makes more sense.
I love it, actually.
Yeah, nobody else can control. You just can't control an army like that. It just doesn't function that well.
But I mean, like the adjustment. Even if it doesn't work, I love it. I love the attempt, regardless. I think it's super smart. He realized that JonSnow kept on going mass, Ling, Bane, Hydralisk, and Colossus is going to counter that pretty well if he can get up to 4 at least.
You know, JonSnow hasn't scouted any of that thought, but he has just thrown down a Spire. Curious to see where JonSnow is going to take that Spire, because that's the first Spire we've seen.
It would be sick if he went Corruptors, because then he can negate the Phoenixes, he can deal with the Colossus, and he can even kill some Nexus, maybe.
Bills has done a pretty good job so far in being able to keep...
Oh, the Prism in the main! Oh my god!
Oh, his Greeks is alive. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about that Prism. He's getting a Templar Archives as well. That's a very rich Protoss on 3 bases stuff.
Yeah. And Charge. I would have thought more Stalkers. Just really old school, pure Stalkers Colossus with sentries and force fields. What would you be worried about? Bane drops?
Yeah, just later I think he's going to be worried about Vipers, but there is no infestation pit yet. So I think just Stalkers, Sentry, Colossus, but maybe he feels like he's going to flow too much gas by doing, or excuse me, too many minerals. By everything that he's doing is quite gas intense, so maybe he feels like he wants to have a mineral dump and try to find an opening with some Zealots somewhere. Phoenixes have a lot of energy though, that's kind of unusual as well.
He just threw in a bunch of drones, but I think he knows there are Queens and Spores there, so no one just lose them.
JonSnow making 12 Corruptors.
Ooh, going straight for Archons actually, Bills. Not aiming for Storm at all.
I think that makes sense. It's good against the Archons, good against, good against the Corruptors, good against Lynx. And 1 or 2 Storms is probably not going to make the difference, but 3 or 4 Archons absolutely can. Yeah. If you've got some Colossus behind it.
Do you know how many Protosses I've seen try to take that false base and die trying to take it because there are just attacks there? Too many, yeah. So Bill's going to have to be careful. Ideally see the Zerg army coming, kind of seize it up, look at the size, and be like, all right, if there's too much, I'll just not fight for now. And actually, we've got +1 ground armor on the way for Bills, not +2 attack.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that. I actually think that's surprising, because I feel if you go Colossus, you kind of need attack upgrades more than armor, right? Like a Guardian, just pop a Guardian Shield or so, but you need these Colossus to kill the Hydras.
Storm's not finished. He's got a lot of force fields to work with, but those are going to have to be perfect.
You got to be careful. He doesn't have that much NTR against these Corruptors, though, Todd. He needs to position his Colossus very well. 1 Colossus takes a lot of damage immediately. That is not a good way to start this battle. Overcharge. It feels like it's not going to be enough. The force fields are good, but I think all the Colossus are gone before the army of JonSnow has arrived.
I just remembered why people don't go Colossus. Banelings are going to roll on through, blow up probes, and Bill's just going to try to survive here. Storm's about to finish. His 3rd base getting ransacked. This Corruptor is going to town on it. And he's going to have to engage here. Storm's finished. Nice clean up. Oh my god.
He's going to be able to clean it up.
But he brutalized this army.
But Todd, at what cost? At the cost of all his probes. He lost so many.
Oh, the Phoenix is getting caught, actually. Rip. That was random. JonSnow's going for Nexus, like he finds a bunch of Phoenixes. Like, all right. Where's that guy away from the rest of the Phoenixes, actually?
I don't know. There are still Phoenixes on the left top side. I would have loved to see those Phoenixes being used at home. It actually seems, I mean, they're not great without any
the next wave in the middle of the map, JonSnow is going to engage, and there is no Guardian Shield left, and no Storm either. There's no High Templar. He's just been going straight up for Archons. That 4th base is going to be sacked. And Bales forgot about the Phoenixes that he's got on the left-hand side. He's going for level 2 ground armor. What is going on?
I'm not exactly
The Nexus
sure.
is dying.
But I think he's going to get sandwiched. There is way too much there. He's going to get on top of the sentries. JonSnow coming in from multiple angles. And I think that's all he wrote over here. GG. JonSnow takes the 2-1 lead. I mean, What a game. There's so much to talk about. Like,
yeah.
Kind of an odd strategy by Bills. I don't hate the idea at all. I agree with you. I think it's kind of cool to try to adapt a little bit.
But I think you should have played it truly old school, where you only make Stalkers and Colossus, and you stay on sentries for force fields. And then if the army comes and attacks before you're maxed out, you force field it away, and then the Corruptors can't fly in because you got like 25 Stalkers just smashing them. You would, I mean, I guess he could trade against some Colossus, but then you would still have 2 alive, which is enough to deal with the rest of the Zerg army.
And let's not forget, he could have used the Phoenixes as well. Even though if you don't have +1 air weapons, it takes a while for Phoenixes to work on Corruptors, but it was 12 Corruptors, like Todd said. If you force field away the Hydras, and then you just hold position, run the Colossus back, Stalkers, Guardian Shield, Archons, and Phoenixes, before you know it, those Corruptors will start falling.
I think it's again a matter of like these guys, they don't see everything that we see. Like we're here as observers, it's very easy to nitpick and be like, oh, you should have done this transition and this transition, but in their case, they play with minimal information, so they try to make the decisions on the fly, just like that. And I think Bells was probably picturing like, you know, a hive on the way, maybe a Greater Spire. He's like, he's going to take his time, split the map. I'll just go charge, go for Prism, use my Phoenix. Yeah, exactly. But then all of a sudden, you got like a huge Hydralisk Baneling army at your front door, and then you have 1 second to react, and it's too late.
Yep. One thing is for sure, Todd. Bills definitely never uses F2. Like, he always has units just standing somewhere, chilling for a while. He is the opposite of an F2 Protoss.
I don't use F2 either, actually.
No, never?
No.
Did you disable it, or you just don't press it?
I never got used of using it, so I don't use it.
My name is Kevin, and I'm addicted. I press it a lot. For a while, I disabled it, but then I spoke with Zok at Home Story Cup, and he's like, yeah, I disabled it as well, but do you know that if you click on the little icon above the minimap, you still get it? And the idea was planted in my brain.
So you click now?
Yes, then I started to click, and then after 2 weeks, I was like, well, this is useless. I may as well just bring the key back, because if I'm clicking on it anyway, like, there's no point.
You went to rehab, you were like 2 weeks clean, and then had 1 shot with soccer and relapsed.
Yep, it went back. It went really bad. Let's go ahead and hop into Blood Boil. Game number 4 between these two awesome American players. Is JonSnow going for back-to-back top 4 performances at WCS Challenger, or will this man be able to bring it back here on this very difficult map for Protoss? A creation by our very passionate community member and map maker Avex. It is Bills. Elevate.
His opponent. Did you already introduce him, or?
No.
You didn't, right? In the red, playing for Team Psystorm Gaming, it is JonSnow, also known as Jared George.
The man.
Do you know that TV show, The Chameleon? That's how I figured, or I found out about the name Jared, because we don't have that name in France.
I mean, Pig's name is Jared. You know that, right?
Yeah, but Jared
with
an E. Jared with an O. But like, we have no, I feel like we have no name similar to that in France. And there was like that TV show called The Chameleon. It's about this guy who changes like jobs and personalities like as he wants. It's actually kind of silly thinking back on it. I thought it was really cool back then. His name was Jared. I was like, what kind of name is Jared? And then here I started traveling. I was like, oh, actually, it's a pretty common name.
No, I've never heard of this show, Todd. So, Bills is taking the gold. I think a while ago, Artosis tweeted, like, you know, what do you do, PvZ on Blood Boil? And then Mechanic said, like, you can just do what Bills and I do. We take Nexus first at the gold, or we go 1 gate fast expand at the gold. We're 0-5, but it's really cool, you know, like, and it seems like Bills is going to go for it once again. He also did this against Semper, right, on this map, where we had the Tor Rush. You jumped into that game earlier this week.
Oh, yeah, and he crushed that, actually. That was crazy, because I really thought it was going to work.
To me, it just feels that if JonSnow starts playing like a True Star here, or Bly, and you just make links, you keep on making links, you get a Drop Alert. On this map, you can have a Drop Alert here. You know, technically, you could just drop over here. You can drop on this side, and you can drop all the way over here. And obviously, if you just get links everywhere, I just don't see how you can hold.
But Bell scouted. He started timing on that gas, so he knows that there is the possibility, like when it would come, right? He can kind of time it. So I think you get Mothership Core to defend the gold base, and then a Depths to defend the main base. Look at the amount of probes he transferred, by the way. Oh my god.
But I mean, this is already going to be annoying over here in the beginning. Okay, the Mothership Core is here. Obviously, you don't want to use an overcharge too early. Bills knows that. JonSnow was kind of trying to bait an overcharge. He's like, hey man, if I were you, you could potentially drop it. But Bill's too good for that. Good micro stuff on the probes. Not a single probe went down.
Gets rid of some links.
So, Stargate. Okay, I think it's pretty smart because against like Drop Lord's play, you can shut it down immediately, and obviously Oracles can be very useful against Link Floods.
And wanting off both sides here of the gold as well to make sure no links can get in from there.
Is that a total wall?
Yeah.
Wow, that's sick actually.
Yeah, I always get that, I think, in Zerg.
That is really cool.
2 pylons at the front and even leaving one probe at the watchtower, so Bale's very wary here of an attack. Making sure he doesn't get surprised. I'd love a Twilight actually behind the Stargate.
This probe thought is so far away from the Zolnaga watchtower. This is a strong little probe.
So close yet so far. Making sure not to step on the corrupted grounds. There's actually a body down there. You see that?
The Zolnaga watchtower?
Yeah.
What died? A Marine.
That poor guy.
And growth. Alright, we've got a couple links running across the map. It's not that many. First overcharge is going to be used. Overcharge in the right pylon as well. Bill's immediately throwing down another pylon. He's going to get a Void Ray. For now, it's still just drones on the production tab for JonSnow. But I can imagine that well, I don't know. Maybe JonSnow is like, you know what, you take the gold, I'll take the gold.
Ooh, Bales is going to get an Overlord, and JonSnow hasn't started any extra one. Boom, 64 out of 66. And he's only starting one.
He's getting a Roach Warren this time. That's like the first Roach Warren we've seen in all series long. He's going to go for like a Roach Ravager push, but there is a Void Ray out on the map. Maybe thought he just doesn't respect the Void Ray.
Maybe he respects it so much that he feels he has to all in.
Like, oh my god, imagine if he adds like 3 more. What am I going to do against 4 Void Rays? You know, he can actually make a bunch of queens as well. He's got 7 queens already and 2 extra queens on the way. Yeah. It all makes sense. Yep. The march of the queens.
Roach Ravager against the Depths and Void Ray can be quite good, especially with Transfuses building up here. Let's see. Bale's actually the one taking the fight to JonSnow, but I think JonSnow has enough here to be ready.
Yeah, Roaches are about to pop.
Oh, he might let that transfer against this many queens that can't chase.
Yep. I would, the problem is that with 13 Roaches popping, at least he's going to be able to spot it, which is big. I mean, this is a huge tell, right? But what do you do right now if you're Bill?
If you see Roaches popping there, though, it's not necessarily offensive, right? It might be for the defense at the last second. Okay, he sees the one in the main. Now that's the big tell that a lot of units are being made. Very important here for Bales.
Yep, I think the empty...
He's getting charged and a third base.
The empty mineral line as well. Oh, look at one of the Void Rays thought. The Void Ray was supposed to be respected. Guardian Shield is not going to save it. These queens got ahead of the party and thought, I am very worried.
Yeah, and way too early of a charge there. There's going to be one missing against this army. That's going to hit really soon. Oh no!
I think Bills is falling apart. I have no idea how you're ever supposed to hold this with the army that Bills has. These pylons are going to get picked off. Good build order here by JonSnow.
That Attack Shrine cannot finish soon enough, man.
Yeah. That would be the dream, right? Because there's no mobile detection. But unfortunately, DTs are not going to be ready in time. As the Dark Shrine is only halfway down, this next is going to get picked up. Plenty of Ravages here, keeping those Adepts at bay as well with Corrosive Ball. This next stun is falling very fast. Overcharge is going to be...
Look at this army. This is insanity.
Yeah. 6 minutes, 37 seconds. Oh, Corrosive Ball on the probes. A couple of them live.
This is words to try and buy some time here from Bales. One link triggers both of them every time, and I don't know how he's going to hold there. I mean, charge finished. I guess DTs.
Yeah. With DTs, he might be able to push his army back. But I feel like the only way he's going to have a shot if the Dark Templars just kill all the Ravages as well. And he immediately re-expands. I mean, he does have this base. And he can also take the base in the back of Natural. Need more Dark Templars, though. 1 DT is not going to kill this fast enough. But well, it will scare the army, actually. But I wouldn't let all those queens get home, though, Todd.
Yeah.
I would.
They're going to step on creep soon.
Yeah,
they're going to step on creep soon enough to run away and be safe. They're Usain Bolt, man, when they're on creep.
So double Robo is going to be the follow-up now for Bills. He's going to go Disruptors this time. That'll make some sense, but...
I like the choice by JonSnow as well to go for Spire, because he knows he's facing a low-econ Protoss who's worried about Mass Ravager and might go for Robo tech, right? Yep. With like Immortals, maybe even Disruptors. So he's like, I'll just get Mutas and kill you. I have enough to defend on the ground if you attack. I'll just, you know, build up my walker count a little bit.
JonSnow had a great run in last Challenger, was able to finish top 4, was able to get that trip to Jönköping that is happening next week, and thought it seems very, very, very likely he's going to be able to repeat that pretty damn good in performance with another top 4 finish.
Yeah, you're living the high life for sure if you qualify for 2 tournaments like this. All expenses paid.
And they're far away as well. I mean, this was not like a trip to Austin from New York. Like, it's a trip to Sweden and it's a trip to Valencia as well, as these Ravages are going to try to break down the front. That one Void Ray is being annoying and saving the day. JonSnow actually stepping in his own corrosive piles. But the Queens thought they're a little late to the party, but they're finally here, and I have no idea what's supposed to take these Queens out.
Yeah, that one Void Ray gonna have a heavy task here, low on hit points, and one more overcharge will go down there. These Immortals will come out soon, and with Overseers being there, DTs cannot do anything anymore. Spell's not even gonna attempt to get any, and I think this is gonna be it here. JonSnow is gonna be waking up with a smile on his face for many weeks to come here, knowing that he's gonna go to Europe not once but twice in the next 2 months.
I thought our Protoss hearts are bleeding. Another challenger where we don't have a Protoss in the top 4. We saw Neep go down against True earlier today already, 3-0. If you blink twice, the series is pretty much over. True with a lot of low eco styles. And now we see JonSnow with an impressive performance, showed some good builds, showed some excellent timings. Bills put up a good fight, but it is JonSnow who will secure his ticket to WCS Valencia. And he's getting ready for sangrias and tapas. Some paella. So good.
And he's moving on to face True in the losers semi-finals. The winner of that will face Scarlet, and then the winner of that will face Masa in the grand finals. Our next 2 matches are going to be back to best of 3s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then the grand finals is a best of 5 with a 1 map 0 lead for Masa.
All right. The reason why it goes back to best of 3 is obviously because top 4 was the most important thing.
Yeah.
From this point on, there is money on the line and there is WCS points on the line. Even though I think 4th place and 3rd place is the exact same. I think they both get 900 bucks. Well, let me just no, 800, excuse me. And then it goes up to 1200 if you make top 2. And if you win Challenger, you get $1,600. But obviously WCS points, you know, 140 for 2nd, 200 for 1st, and 90 for 3rd and 4th. So, you know, if winning the next game alone doesn't do anything for you, you basically need to win 2 series.
It gives you a chance to win.
Yeah.
Play and win in the next one, I guess.
It keeps the dream alive. All right, that means that we're going to take a very small break. Our first break after a lot of StarCraft. And after that, we'll be back with a ZvZ between JonSnow and True.
Let's end this thing once and